Hello students, in this class we are going to learn about traditional folk media for development. After going through this unit, you will be able to know the importance of folk media and how it's helping for rural development. Folk media help in convincing and influencing in a very effective way the opinion and attitude of a cross section of rural masses who cannot be reached through the established modern mass media. Over the years, the traditional folk artists have proved the folk media is one of the most powerful propaganda that can be effectively used to direct in the attention of the masses towards various programs of development based on the felt need of the masses. Taking into consideration the useful purpose of the folk media, there is urgent need for reviving and sustaining this media as they focus on important part of our rich cultural heritage. They also provide useful means for the progress of the people and nation. Folk performing arts have been in existence in India for long and have been used as medium of communication in rural areas. Over the years, rural masses have been using folk media for expressing their social, ritual, moral and emotional needs. The main aim of folk arts is to perform entertainment as well as to educate the audience in rural areas. The folk arts continue to wield a lot of influence on the rural masses. They play a crucial role in the process of socio-economic development. As an effective tool to improving rural masses towards accepting socio-economic changes initiated by various development agencies, folk media is important. Traditionally, the rural masses have been using the folk media for expressing their social, ritual, moral and emotional needs. Traditional folk media categorized into folk dance, folk tales, idioms and storytelling, folk music, puppet dance, social message song, street play, drumming and folk lyrics. Here some of the important of folk media in rural communication. Communication plays a vital role in everyone's life. There are different medium of communication such as television, radio and other new media. In spite of that, folk media play an important role in community development, especially in rural development. From ancient days itself, folk media has had taken vital role in transforming and communicating various information to the rural masses. There are variety of folk forms in India, which includes Bavi of Gujarat, Baul and Jatra of Bengal, Burkhatha of Andhra Pradesh, Yakshagana of Karnataka, Nautanki in North India, Villupattu of Tamil Nadu, Ankita Nata of Assam, Chau in Bengal, Orissa and Jharkhand are many more forms are there. Through this, there are other traditional medium. There is much more famous medium in the village. Folk media tells real story. It reflects hope, strength, aspiration, perception of the villages in a simpler way. Song, music, drama, state theatre, folk song, yatra, etc. These are different forms of folk media. Folk as a communication medium, it is only popular in rural areas. Folk media arouse interest among the people and stimulate their interest to get involved in various folk medium. Folk medium is favorite to all and irrespective of all ages. This medium is very sealed to the heart and mind of the villages that can overcome the obstacle of literacy, language and also expenditure factor as it is very low cost medium. Folk media is very acceptable medium for the villages. In the medium, people very easily communicate and share their thoughts and ideas. Folk media is a powerful tool for conveying message to the people in various topics, issues and socio-political activities. It creates awareness, sensitize and motivate the villages towards various issues. Folk plays a significant role in development of rural area. But in the modern century, the electronic era, due to advancement of new media, folk media is losing its importance. Street play and street theatre, etc. is very rare to see day by day. Traditional folk media transform from generation to generation. In this view, their impact in the society at the grassroots level, folk media are powerful weapon and spread the information especially in the rural areas, fulfilling, catalyzing socio-economic development. There is a very important requirement for research in the field. Flexibility. Traditional media is a favorite to all age groups and available to all and enjoyed by each and every person of the society. The main advantage of folk media is flexibility in day-to-day life and can be introduced to traditional folk forms of art such as wall painting, puppet show, dances, drama, folk songs, festival, Bioscope, Tamasha, Nautanki, storytelling, etc. The traditional media plays a vital role in extension education. The great task of extension education is to impart a changes in a desirable influence on others through the use of effective extension teaching. It is better to have inventory of the available local and familiar traditional media of operation in the field of agriculture, communication, and home science education. In this modern era, the combination of traditional media with electronic media is welcoming step in the way. Various occasions like Kisan Mela, exhibition, Jata, campaign, etc. These are the good perform for the agencies to spread the information and disseminate the information to innovate the folk media in the rural communities. Importance of traditional media. Folk arts forms in the medium of disseminating useful information about tradition and culture of the people. Folk media is the combination of dance, songs. Folk media is an important tool of transforming technologies to the people by means of various folk arts. Folk arts satisfy the needs and desire of the people, especially rural masses. The main characteristics of traditional media as under. Traditional media change in the attitude of the people is high, arouse interest among the public. Puppetry. It is one among the vital media for transforming technology to the farmers in the villages. The puppetry was famous both in entertainment as well as educational medium. The puppet play an important lesson on various issues like literacy, health, agriculture, homemaking, employment, education, rural youth activities, recreation, etc. Puppet can make huge difference and make positive impact if properly used with active participation of the local people. Puppets are very popular, especially for village situation. It is used to communicate message with entertainment. Drama. Folk media depicts the village life and its problems and solutions based on the need of the community. The stories like farmers' problem and solutions, demonstrations on improved practices, working for organization of the programs of rural development, role of decentralization through village leaders, how to tackle village problems and issues, problems of education, sanitation, health and hygiene, and role of cooperatives and extension wing, how villages can benefit from it. Folk theatre forms. Tamasha. Tamasha is the best form of folk medium theatre. Going back to over 400 years, the group of people chose of 6 to 8 male singers, come performers, and 2 or more female dancers, singer, make to troupe. The story part is the next component. The most important is the performer. The story based of Tamasha in the form of agriculture related songs and dances based on stories derived from myth and folklore. Government sponsored Tamasha groups also educate the family planning. Nautanki. Nautanki is the form of drama forms. This is very popular in the field of agriculture and rural development. The dramatic form may easily be adopted in the social and rural development programs. This medium helps to bring desirable changes in the behavior of the rural. Keertana and Harikatha. This is the religious folk theatre. It is a kind of drama of monodrama which gifted actor enters a whole series of characters. Harikatha played a both state and central government to educate the rural masses on development activities, democratic value and national integration with the help of Keertanakar and Kadakara. All India Radio and Doordarshan using this Keertana form for broadcast aimed at industrial workers and rural audiences. Street play. Street play are used for spreading messages of various issues like sanitation and hygiene, adult education related aspects, and they create awareness against social evils. Melas and festivals. Melas and festivals are the favorite for the rural area. It is like a good opportunity for social gathering and sharing information, idea and other aspects among the rural mass. Rural Mela in India has a special significance. Nowadays, few important Melas like Kisan Divas and Kisan Mela are organized to knowledge transfer to the farmers. Farmers are shown field demonstration, exposure visit to a standing crop and also demonstration of agriculture implements and tools. Agriculture related exhibitions arranging various competitions like spinning, tailoring and preparation of nutritious food for women and various competitions like question and answer session between scientists and farmers, recreation program, folk dance and songs, film shows, etc. are some of the important events of the fairs. The main objective of the Mela is to spread information on various agriculture technology to the rural people for their betterment. Storytelling is an informal way of conveying message to the community. Through this, interesting stories can be narrated and useful information may be passed to the people. Riddles. Riddles is a very important tool to communicate knowledge of the people. Some puzzles are given to the rural people which help them to understand and use the practices in the agriculture cultivation, homemaking. Bioscope. This is the popular folk medium used for education, entertainment and propagating of various social issues. This is very useful in conveying the people about educational message, which is very useful for farmers like cultivation of different varieties of crop, vegetable preservation, soil testing, mosquito. Bioscope is very popular folk media, especially in rural area, which needs some assessment in effectiveness. The feasibility of traditional media in the process of development is possible in the following areas like agriculture, medical and health program, including family planning, nutrition program and adult education, social legislation, legal and policy issues, cleanliness and rural development programs. Through folk media helps to disseminate various information and arouse interest among the public. This helps to change the minds of the people into action. Uniqueness of traditional folk media. They have sustained to attack of time. They have sustained by changing with the changing times. Any person is always participant in the performer, never be the audience. It is flexible, it is supple, it is cost-effective method, and it has immediate feedback and increased consideration. It is performed in the common language, promoting simplicity, and it is a direct and personal method. Now let us have a glance over the advantages of folk media. Every group of people has its own folk and traditional media which is close to their hearts. It remains in their blood. Hence, whenever it is performed or enacted by anyone in the society or crowd, feel like enjoy. It is to the maximum. It is favorite to people, especially rural masses. Most of the folk performers performed in the public place, people shown more interest among public. Gathering take place very short duration. Bihu is one of the famous folk performance with people gathering. That it affects the masses are much greater than that of mass media. Based on the interest of the audience, folk media perform in various places and an audience can also take part in it, becoming themselves as a part of performing team. Folk media performance is various places and wide variety of people across a huge area. Folk media differs from one place to another, regional or local area based on the scenario of the people, interest, need and cultural practices. The main advantage of folk media is to live performance with gestures, facial expressions, body language, verbal and non-verbal language in the field of communication. Live performance create more impact among the audience and bring changes in the attitude. Folk media helps to create awareness among the public. Folk media has its own importance and valuable medium among the masses. Folk groups should have their identity instead of number strength because the people should easily identify and the performer to remind the people's mind. The various forms of folk are tales, sense of humor, moral values, ethic, utterances and oath. It also includes various forms like folk music, folk speech, folk art, folk symbols, folk slogan, folk prayer, games, designs, etc. This helps to identify the folk group and reach the public in effective way. Folk media is basically performance oriented. Folk media is the combination of music, dance, dialogue, facial expression of the performer. Basically, folk media is blended combination of all these aspects. These aspects provide much more effectiveness over its target audiences. Disadvantage of folk and traditional media is reaching very limited at one time. Folk media is usually performed hundreds and thousands of people only. Folk media addresses the problems of the society. Language used for the folk media preferably in regional and local language. Role of traditional folk media in rural development. Since the beginning of history, the role of communication has become very important. With the advancement of science and technology, the forms of way of communication have become more popular. In a country like India, new technologies alone compensate the sum total of communication channels. In recent days, social networking like internet, email, newspaper, radio, television, video conferencing and audio conferencing and other communication channels. Majority of rural population living in rural areas and then mass media proved to be a glamorous and unbelievable and touch emotionally. Traditional media brings changes and development of the country. The communication needs in India are much greater than the resource what we have today to meet them. While the mass media represent a continuous growth and expansion, the traditional media have been playing an important role to fill the communication gap exists and expanding and fulfill the peculiar roles and rural areas and its massive population. Without changing the ethics of the message, folk media artists help the rural masses for conveying the message through traditional media. This media serve as a silent role for communication and conveying development message to the rural people and also helping for reaching and sharing the values and activities. To conserve our cultural heritage, each and everyone responsibility to preserve the national heritage in the folk media form to play a powerful tool. A considerable research work needs to be done in the area of identify various forms of folk traditional media and their impact on development programs to establish the fact that traditional folk media are tool to special nature and an immensely using as a political and administrative elite in evolving communication strategy, which will be very appealing to the masses. It has been observed that every today the folk media constitute the major credible and believable source of information in rural areas. Traditional folk media helps to create the positive impact of the people, especially rural folk. Folk media is a special tool to bring social change. Messages can be transferred like agriculture messages. Folk media conveys various messages like social issues, awareness as well as agricultural message. Traditional and modern media are complementary each other. Through this, traditional media will help of development activities and take the young generation in the right pathway and preserving and transmitting our culture, tradition and culture of the society. This will make remarkable impact of the society. What can be communicated? Communication plays an important tool that are follows. Understand the nature of community. To use a tool for making community for participation, group working, community unity, encouragement and enthusiasm. To make participation of the community, community harmony and encouragement. Prepare folk media based on the need of the people. To eradicate myths and misconceptions of the social issues. To arrange useful program for the young generation and motivate them to involve in it. To disseminate the information among the public. To encourage and motivate the rural people. To inculcate education, entertainment, information and motivation. To make the community aware of various recent issues. To empower the rural people. To initiate new social trend in development. How should cultural show should be organized well? Evening time preferably to conduct the show. Common place in the village is more convenient to conduct the show. Time duration favorably 1 to 2 hours, not more than that. Preparing and executing the program in a systematic way is very important. Show need to be based on theme and serve the purpose of the village people. Program need to be based on fulfilling objective. Different character, costumes, role to be involved. Involving rural masses can make the event success. Let me conclude. Traditional folk performance are popular in all the community. Researchers have established the significance of traditional folk media in development communication. Traditionally, folk media were mainly opting various purposes like entertainment and communication. At present, there are various efforts to involve folk media for transmission development messages. Thank you.